Welcome to the Universe is Talking podcast, episode 1. I'm your host, King.
And I'm your host, Aja.
Today's episode will be on toxic relationships and why do people choose to stay. To begin, I want to start by defining the word toxic. Toxic simply means poisonous. And relationship. Relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being connected. And then we have toxic relationship, which is a relationship characterized by behaviors on the part of the toxic partner that are emotionally and not infrequently physically damaging to their partner. Keep in mind that it takes two individuals to have a toxic relationship. So with that being said, let's go ahead and discuss toxic relationships and why people choose to stay.
Thanks, King. You would think with the way that you've defined toxic relationships that no one would want to stay in it. But I think that there are reasons that we continue to be in relationships with people that just aren't good with us. And one of those reasons would be that we associate affection with love. And I say that because in the beginning of a relationship, people do certain things. They want us to like them. So they do certain things to get us to be in this relationship with them and to stay in this relationship. And some of those things, for example, would be texting frequently or calling at certain hours, always being available, taking you out to eat or taking you to the show, just always being in the other's presence. And those are the things that kind of make us want to be in this relationship and stay in it. And we associate that with love. And in one way, it is kind of love. I mean, when you love someone, you do things with them that they will appreciate and they enjoy. But it's not love completely and totally. Those are just some of the things that people do when they're digging somebody. But because we associate that with love, oftentimes when things are going bad and things are starting to not just be bad, but be terrible, there's all kinds of signs that this person is not good for you or you're just not good for each other. But that person, or maybe even you, in order to stay in this relationship, you start to do those things that you know the other likes. I don't even know if this is a conscious thing. I mean, I think that it can be. But so, for instance, if one of the things that was starting to fall off is that the person wasn't calling as much or the person wasn't texting as much, now all of a sudden they are. And because you've associated those things with love, now you're right back in. You're starting to feel like everything's better again, even though the problems that you have or the fact that you just aren't good for each other, you just like completely ignore that. So I think that's one of the things is just how we tend to associate certain things with love and that not truly being love or being good for us.
All right. Now, you brought up something about one of the people start doing the things that they know the other person like, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you think about it, do you think that that person is actually doing the things that they like and is not actually the things that the other person might like?
I think it's possible that either or both. I think it's possible that you're doing what you want to do and it just so happens that that other person is enjoying it. And I think this is going to be like a whole different podcast where we talk about how it's very common for us to tailor our behaviors for another person in order to be seen as dateable or wife or husband material. So there are things that we know are going to make us more desirable to the other, and oftentimes those are the things that we do. I'm someone who I really don't like to talk on the phone all the time, and I really don't have to have that much connection with a person in order for me to feel close. However, I know that when you're getting to know someone, part of getting to know them is spending more time with them and speaking to them. So it's a compromise that I kind of make in order to have some sort of connection with the person and get to know them. But I've always kind of, I have to keep, I don't know, like I just have to stay who I am and remain who I am, because in reality, if in the future I'm not wanting to be near you, you may think it's because it's all of a sudden I don't like you, when in reality, this is who I've always been. I've always enjoyed my space and the ability to be independent and not be up on someone in order to consider ourselves in love. And my husband knows that after all these years, that I just sometimes need space. But getting back to your original question, do I think that it's because the person wants to do it themselves or because they're doing it for the other? And I think it could be either.
Speaking of the talking on the phone and you personally not being a person that likes to talk on the phone a lot, some time ago, and for anybody that know me, they kind of know what I'm saying some time ago. You could fill in the blank however you want to fill it in, but some time ago, I had decided to give a new person one of my numbers, and we started kicking it. And I noticed that she was calling me all the fucking time. She called me on her way to work, when she at work, when she leaving work. She wanted to call me and ask me why I didn't call her when I was leaving work. And I had to cut that shit short. After about a week of realizing how much time she was trying to spend on my phone, I was done with it. I don't got that much time to be talking on the phone with your ass when I'm not really trying to do too much with you.
All right.
So you don't have to talk all the fucking time to be connected. For me personally, if we could be in each other's presence and not say no words at all, we are connected just the way I like.
Oh, I get it. I understand completely. I think that it's the quality of the time that you're spending, whether that's in person or speaking to each other on the phone. I think that matters more. But when it comes to our topic about toxic relationships, it is a matter of knowing that that's not working and not trying to then redefine who you are for the other in order to make that work. So oftentimes, like in a toxic relationship, the moment that you realize that, so for instance, she may realize like I'm calling too much, I'm doing too much. So as opposed to being who she really is, she might just start to call less and become less available in order to appeal to you. All right. But that's not who she really is. She wants to have more contact than what she's allowing, but she wants to stay in this arrangement with you. And that to me is part of like the foundation of a lot of toxic relationships, is that you're not being completely honest about who you are from the jump. So she tailors herself, she becomes, less available, more distant. You're like, oh, this is great, because she gets it finally. And, now you consider yourself to be in this relationship and everything's all good. But it's not really all good, because she's lied. She's lied about who she is in order to be more appealing to you. And you don't know who she really is. And so when things crop up, when they crop up, for the most part, it's going to be because any tense muscle has got to relax. So at some point, she's going to be who she is. You'll see the signs of it. You'll start pulling away. What's she going to do? She's going to start to go back to where she needed to be in order to be in this relationship with you. I really honestly believe that that's why, at least that's one of the reasons why a lot of people stay in toxic environments and relationships. I don't know if you wanted to add any of your reasons for why we stay in toxic relationships, but I got another. So,
all right. So yeah, I'll throw in one of mine first before you go.
Okay.
All right. So speaking about men and why we tend to stay in toxic relationships, all she got to do is offer you some motherfucking sex, and your ass is right back to being all in. Since the
Yeah.
beginning of time, many a men has fallen victim to amazing fucking fruit. And now that I think about it, I don't think that it was Eve that ate the fruit in the garden and casted all of mankind out of Eden. I think Adam was running around fucking them hoes. He got his ass some fruit that he shouldn't have been fucking with. And now look, men can't stop fucking with fruit that shouldn't be touched. Especially when it's toxic. Ain't nothing more filling for a nigga than some toxic fruit. That fruit been bathing and marinating in generational toxicness. And he go over there and get some and bam. All that fly shit he was talking before he went over there, go right out the window. He all in the toxic fruit. I think that's what fucked a lot of niggas up.
Not just men, but women as well. I mean, we really do get caught up in the D. We get caught up in bomb dick. And even though the dick that is attached to the man, like the man that the dick is attached to, is not any good for us. We know that he's not really wanting to be in a relationship with us, but he has provided us with a feeling that we don't seem to get anywhere else, or with that good man that has been trying to give us the commitment and all the things that go with it. So it's like it's never matched up. I shouldn't say never, because my experience is I've had good experiences. I can't say that I'm jaded or someone that's experienced unhappiness in relationships and I've been trying to find it. I've been married to my husband. It'll be 16 years in September. And the whole idea that, you can't marry someone that has like all the attributes that you're looking for, or at least most of them, that's not something that I can relate to. So I don't come from a place that toxic relationships are attached to good dick and, you got to have either or, just not where my frame of mind is. But I definitely agree with you that oftentimes we have sex with people and the sex is great, but they're not. But we want the sex, so we stay. Yeah.
I think people should learn to separate the two and take whatever it is that that's great from each other and just have that right there. And whatever isn't great, leave that shit over there to the side and don't try to make it more than it is. If you and him or you and her are great at having sex with each other, but y'all are not great at anything else, then just have the fucking sex. And don't try to have nothing else. There ain't nothing wrong with that. We are adults. Nobody said you got to be with each other just because y'all can have great sex.
The problem with that, though, is, and it may be a gender thing, but at some point, in my experience, women want everything. I'm not saying that men do not, but at some point, there's like a switch. Maybe it's connected to our biological clock. But something happens and women are like, I want to be married. I want to be married. And they have like, I want to be married by 31. I want to have this by the time I'm 32. I want a baby by the time I'm 33, no later than 33. And when you start making those types of restrictions and goals for yourself, it becomes harder to waste your time being in a relationship that's only going to be sex, and you know it. So oftentimes I find my experience with other women, they try to make that dick become so much more because they have already designed their lives, their future lives around having a man that has a big dick, a nice dick, a good dick, and also can provide, and he needs to be sexy and makes me laugh, and he needs to have good credit or workable credit and all these things. And so, at some point, women just decide we're going to make this work. And that actually leads to like another point about why I think we stay in toxic relationships. And that's because we're competitive, or we don't want to lose. We don't want to fail. Oftentimes when you start a relationship, you put a lot of yourself in it. and you've built up this world, and you've also let people know that you have this thing going. And with social media being the way it is, everyone wants to tell everybody what they're up to, what they're doing, who they're with. They always want to appear to be much more successful in all areas of their lives than they really are. There's a lot of pressure to look as if everything's okay. And once you build that up, it's kind of hard to tell the world that's been watching, that you wanted to watch, you know what, shit just didn't pan out. And he's not really my man, or, you know, he's really not in it like I am. We're fast to move, like we move too fast and everything. And that's because of, and I say we because not really me, but I'm just being, you know, kind to my sisters here, that we want it all. And we know that there is a time limit on us to have it all, So we make people what we want to make them. And then when the world sees that, we also don't want to lose the way it looks, or lose the time and effort that we put into the relationship. So oftentimes it's just, we don't want to fail. So we do not end the toxic relationship that we're in.
I want to touch on two of your points, and then I want to go into another reason why a man probably stays in that toxic relationship.
Okay.
One, if a woman's dealing with a man and they've been dealing with each other for X amount of time, and she realizes that this is not everything that I've been wanting in a man, then go off and find a man that's more compatible to be your husband, more compatible with you as far as being a life partner completely. And if that life partner, that husband, don't come with the dick that you also need in your life, then keep that nigga on the side that got the dick that you need in your life. And the same go for men, because not every man needs what I call A+ pussy. Some men are perfectly fine with C average, C-, C+ pussy, and they can live their life happily ever after because she have good credit, she's cooking for him, she's got amazing credit, she matches up in every other category in life, and he's perfectly fine with that. But for the men that needs the woman with the great credit, and she has the same visions for life that he has 10, 20, 30 years down the line, but she just don't have the A+ pussy that he needs, you marry the woman that got the great credit and come with all the other intangibles that you need, but you also keep your A+, B+ pussy on the side to keep you happy and satisfied on that end of life. And everybody's happy. Life works. Everybody's good to go.
I think that not everybody is happy unless, of course, that's an arrangement that both sides can agree to, or you're just living that double life and you're lying about what you're doing to remain happy. And I think that's a completely different podcast. But I mean, I'm not going to disagree that is an arrangement that could work. I'm just saying that the vast majority of us, mostly women, we've been brought up with the idea that in order to be in a marriage or any type of long-term committed relationship, that monogamy must also exist. So it makes it harder for us to accept that the man that comes with some of the things that we need in order to be happy long-term is also going to come with another woman in order for him to remain happy. Again, like, not to share too much of my business, but I just don't know why we can't have it all. Like, I don't know that I could be married to someone that long that does not come with the things that I really need in order to be completely and fully happy. Now, if it's just that I need other men in my life, different type of men, I can see that. But just to say that, you know, he doesn't have the qualities that I need to remain happy every single day, or to be content in this relationship every single day. And let me just add another just so that I can get the 100% what I need. I don't know about that. And I can't subscribe to that. That's not my life. I got to have it all with my husband. And I do. So I mean, I guess not everybody is there.
Right. And another point I wanted to touch on was social media.
Mm-hmm.
For the people that need to put their relationship, their marriage on social media, you better know that social media want the whole show. They don't just want the good part. They don't just want the beginning where everything is perfect. They want the whole goddamn show. So if you go and show them the series premiere, when shit first kicked off, you better show them the series finale also, because they're going to be looking. And they have signed up and subscribed to the whole show, however this shit play out. They are invested in everything that's happening with this show.
That's true. That's true.
All right, so now I want to get into another point about why men tend to stay in toxic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be if that woman could cook. If she can cook, she could cook her way into making that nigga forget the fact that she ain't got no motherfucking job. She ain't earning no income. She don't have nothing but time to cook all day. She could cook some shit, fuck it up, cook it again, fuck it up again. And by the time your dumb ass get over there, you get the best out of 7. She treating your dishes like an NBA playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know no better, because all you getting is the finished product. You walk through the door and it smell like a 5-star chef been in there cooking. It tastes like a 5-star chef whipped it up. And with every bite that you take, you get 1 toe back into the relationship. And then you take a second bite, and then you got 2 toes back into the relationship. And by the time you get done cooking, you got both feet in, you got both hands in, and you got your whole dick all the way back into this toxic ass relationship that you know ain't going to work for you.
How long does that last, though? I mean, I think that the thing about toxic relationships, we all know someone, it could be us, that has remained in a relationship that is clearly not good. And at some point, though, it ends. So I think all those things that you're bringing up as tactics, that's all they are. They're tactics. But eventually, the person who is very unhappy, whether that's just one or both, will realize that, you know what, there's not that many good meals that this person can make that's going to make me forget all the bullshit that they just did. Or just the fact that when I'm in their presence, I'm just disgusted. Or my blood pressure is rising every time they say something. You know, like I really don't want to be around them, because I can tell you, I may be someone who likes my space, but I love the together time. So it's not like I never want to be around those that I love, but I just don't have to be around them all the time. But when I want to be around them, or when I am, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful experience. But in a toxic relationship, that's not going to be beautiful. I'm going to want to be away. I don't want to be around this person. I don't want to talk to the person. I don't want to hear from the person. They make me uncomfortable. They do not make me happy. I'm not happy with them. So how long can those tactics actually work? And I don't think that they can last for long. I mean, I've seen people remain in toxic relationships for years, mind you, but I just don't think it's a forever thing. I think at some point, everything just collapses, because no matter how many times they pull those moves that pull you back in, because those are the things that you've associated with love, and really those are just affection. That's just affection. At some point, that won't work anymore. You're like, yep. I don't care, and I'm done, because I'd rather be happy. I'd rather have peace. I'd rather have those types of things than being in this with you. Sometimes it's another relationship, another person comes along and helps us to see that what we have is not a good thing. But you know, that's a whole different podcast about letting other people into your world when you are committed to someone. And I know that we don't have enough time to go over that today. So,
everybody's clock is different. Everybody's tolerance level is different. So the trick, like you said, of cooking for me or giving me your great sex or even for the woman, that man giving you his great sex, or that man giving you the great, whatever the trick is, it might last for a day or two. It might last for a week. It could last for months. It could last for years. Whatever that time frame is, though, the relationship is still toxic. And there is no way that that great trick that was just pulled on you is going to make the relationship survive forever and the two of you go on to live happily ever after, in spite of the fact that you two are toxic for each other. It's just a trick being pulled to prolong the inevitable. But one thing that's for sure is that the end is coming. And when the end comes, it's over. It's done.
It's over. It's done. Yeah. So that's our word for today. I think that we did good talking about toxic relationships and why people stay.
I think so too, and I hope our listeners got something out of this. And next week we're going to move on to another episode. So we look forward to seeing you all next week. And everybody, this is episode 1 of The Universe is Talking.